For 18 years, Maya and Chloe shared everything. Secrets, inside jokes, laughter, and a private language that only they understood. They shared the same dream of going to college, the nervousness the night before moving in, and even their first precious light stick bought years ago with money they'd saved for months. Now, they were sharing the same dorm room at Westwood University, a space that was a perfect reflection of their long history. On one side, Maya's bed was surrounded by posters of artists with colorful, dreamy concepts. On the other, Chloe's space was decorated with the powerful, high-fashion aesthetic of other idols. But right in the center, joining the two halves, was a framed photo of them at 12 years old at their first concert, their faces glowing with pure admiration and joy. That room was a sanctuary for their friendship. There was only one secret Maya still kept to herself, and whispering it on a Tuesday night was her greatest mistake. It all started with a boy named Liam. He wasn't the type to make grand gestures to be noticed. His presence was quiet but magnetic. Maya and Chloe saw him all over campus, focused on his books in the library, laughing with the group of friends in the cafeteria, dedicated on the soccer field. One afternoon, while the two were having coffee, Liam walked past outside, absorbed in a phone call. He stopped and let out a genuine laugh, the kind that makes her eyes crinkle at the corners. Maya, who had been chatting excitedly about one of her classes, stopped mid-sentence. Her heart did a little leap, and an involuntary smile graced her face. Chloe, with the sharp perception of someone who's known the other for a lifetime, just arched an eyebrow, a knowing smirk forming on her lips. Not a word was said, but the question was already hanging in the air. That night, the atmosphere in the dorm room was intimate and safe, with the soft sound of rain tapping against the window. It was Chloe who broke the silence, her playful tone barely hiding her curiosity. "All right, it's time. Spill," she said, about Liam. Feeling protected in the small universe they had built, Maya finally let her guard down. The confession was more than a simple, "I like him." She handed Chloe a detailed map of her deepest feelings. She told her how she admired his discipline, how he seemed genuinely kind to everyone. The detail that truly won her over, she revealed, was seeing him at a small music festival on campus, watching an indie band she loved all by himself, completely immersed in the music. He wasn't there to be seen. He was there to feel. Maya shared her small dreams and insecurities, every word a brick removed from her protective wall, every secret a testament to her absolute trust. Chloe listened intently, her eyes fixed on Maya, offering what felt like unwavering support. She encouraged her, gave her advice, and at the end of the confession, she pulled her into a tight hug. "We'll figure out a way," Chloe promised, her voice full of confidence. "He won't stand a chance." In that moment, Maya felt an immense sense of relief. She fell asleep with a smile, certain that her secret was safe and that her best friend would be by her side to help her. She had no way of knowing she had just handed the keys to her dream to the person who would turn it into her worst nightmare. Meanwhile, small, almost imperceptible changes began to appear in Chloe's behavior. She spent more time on her phone, smiling at the screen before quickly putting it away when Maya approached. She developed a sudden interest in the indie band Maya had mentioned, saying she gave them a listen and loved them. She started frequenting the same off-campus coffee shop that was Liam's Refuge, coming back with the casual news that she ran into him by chance and that he was super nice. To Maya, these were just signs that her best friend was committed to the mission. In reality, Chloe was collecting data, testing the keys Maya had given her, and confirming that every door to Liam's heart opened just as expected. The first turning point, the revelation, didn't come with a scream, but with a deafening silence. It was on a Friday night, at an outdoor party on the main university lawn. The atmosphere was vibrant, with music, fairy lights strung in the trees, and the sound of laughter everywhere. Maya, feeling confident, was looking for Chloe in the crowd, eager to share a joke. And then she saw her. On the other side of the lawn, near a large tree, was Chloe. And she wasn't alone. Liam was with her, his arm casually draped around her shoulders. They were laughing, their heads close together, immersed in a world that only existed for the two of them. The air seemed to be sucked from Maya's lungs. The sound of the party faded into a distant buzz. She watched, paralyzed, as Liam leaned in and kissed her. A soft, unmistakable kiss. In a single instant, 18 years of friendship and a newly confessed dream turned to ash. The confrontation was inevitable and brutal. Back in their room, the sanctuary became a battlefield. Maya's tears were of pain and confusion. Chloe's posture was one of unnerving calm. Chloe's excuse was the cruelest weapon she could have chosen. "Maya, I swear, it just happened," she said, her voice sounding falsely regretful. "I started talking to him to help you, to see if he was a good guy, and we just connected. It was something I couldn't control." She described how Liam was so surprised she also liked that indie band, how he admired her courage for striking up a conversation with him. Every sentence was a knife, using Maya's own secrets to paint the betrayal as a fated, unavoidable romance. The days that followed were an exercise in public humiliation. The campus, which once seemed full of promise, was now a labyrinth of pain. Maya saw them everywhere, holding hands on the way to class, sharing an earbud in the courtyard, studying together in the library, exactly as Maya had dreamed. Maya made no effort to be discreet, treating the new relationship as the most natural thing in the world, which only made everything more painful. The dorm room, which had once been a refuge, became a space of tense silence and averted gazes, heavy with the weight of what was broken. The second turning point, the moment Maya's sadness morphed into a cold horror, came on a Sunday afternoon. Unable to bear another minute in the room, listening to Spring Day by BTS on her headphones, Maya was packing a bag to spend the night at a classmate's place. As she turned, she bumped into Chloe's small desk, knocking a planner to the floor. The pages fell open. Maya bent down to pick it up, and her eyes fell on Chloe's handwriting. It wasn't class notes. It was a list. A cold, methodical, and calculated list. The items read, "Favorite indie band, The Wandering Echoes, find the vinyl. Studies in the library, 3rd floor, West Wing. Loves the Daily Grind coffee shop off campus. Volunteers at the animal shelter on Fridays." Maya felt the air leave her lungs. They were her words. They were the intimate details, the vulnerabilities, the secrets she had whispered to her best friend on that rainy night. It wasn't an accident. It didn't just happen. It was a plan, a theft. The last line on the list was the most devastating of all. "He wants someone who goes after what they want, who isn't afraid." Maya finally understood. Chloe hadn't just stolen her dream, she had weaponized Maya's very essence and justified the betrayal as an act of strength. The friendship wasn't just broken. Maybe it had never existed at all.
The climax of their story didn't happen with screams, but in a deadly silence. Maya didn't cry anymore. The tears had dried up, and in their place was a cold, sharp clarity. She waited for Chloe in the dorm room, the planner lying open on Maya's bed, a piece of evidence that couldn't be denied or distorted. When Chloe walked in, humming a song and visibly happy after a date with Liam, the light atmosphere that surrounded her dissolved at the sight of Maya's expression. Her eyes followed Maya's gaze to the open planner. Chloe's smile vanished. Maya didn't raise her voice. Her tone was low, almost a whisper, but every word carried the weight of a monumental betrayal. "I was wrong," Maya began. "I accused you of being lucky, of things just happening for you. But you're not lucky, Chloe. You're methodical, cold, and calculating." She gestured toward the planner. For an instant, panic flashed across Chloe's face. The mask of the perfect friend fell away, revealing the girl behind it. But the panic quickly gave way to a defensive, almost hostile posture. "So what?" Chloe said, her voice suddenly hard. "You dream about things, Maya. I make them happen. He was never going to notice you. You were going to spend the next 4 years sighing from a distance.
At least this way, one of us is happy." That was the final sentence, the confession that, in Chloe's mind, their friendship wasn't a partnership, but a hierarchy where she saw herself as the protagonist. The contempt in Chloe's voice was more painful than the kiss Maya had witnessed. In that moment, Maya understood there was nothing left to save. With a calmness she didn't know she possessed, Maya turned to the wall and began to take down her posters, one by one. She folded each one carefully, as if she were packing away the memories of a life that no longer existed. She picked up the framed photo of the two of them, looked at their childhood smiles one last time, and placed it face down inside a cardboard box. "You didn't steal a boy, Chloe," Maya said, not looking at her. "You burned down 18 years of a real friendship for something so small. I truly hope he's worth it." She picked up the box and walked out of the room, closing the door behind her, leaving Chloe alone with her empty victory. The resolution for Maya was a slow and painful process. She moved into a single dorm room on the other side of campus. The first few weeks were filled with a profound loneliness. Seeing Chloe and Liam holding hands on campus was still like a punch to the gut, but the sharp agony began to give way to a dull ache, the scar of a wound that was starting to close. She found solace where she always had, in music, but this time she experienced it in a new way. With her heart aching with nervousness, she went alone to a small event in a coffee shop, organized by fans to celebrate the comeback of the group twice. The place was full of positive energy. When the lights dimmed for the first screening of the new music video, the melody of the song, "Feel Special," began to play. Maya heard the lyrics in a way she never had before, a song about feeling insignificant until someone's warm words make you feel special. And there, surrounded by strangers who shared the same joy she did, Maya didn't think about Chloe or Liam. She thought about herself and about the small but brave journey she took to feel special on her own again. At first, she felt out of place, but she soon began chatting with other girls, not about deep secrets, but about the simple joy of a well-executed choreography, of a fun theory about a song's lyrics. She was building new bridges, simpler perhaps, but real. Weeks later, Liam approached her in the library, looking genuinely concerned. "Hey, are you okay? Chloe told me you two had a fight." Maya looked at him, and for the first time, she didn't feel the pang of a crush, only a distant calm. "Something like that," she replied. "I hope you two are happy." She turned away, not with anger, but with a sense of closure. She was no longer fighting for him. She was finally letting him go. The emotional epilogue takes place months later. Maya's new room is smaller, but it's entirely hers. The posters on the wall reflect only her tastes. She's on a video call with the new friends she's made and the fan club, all of them laughing as they plan a trip to a concert over the summer. Her laugh is genuine, light. As she talks, her gaze falls on a box on her shelf. Inside, she knows, is the old photo of her and Chloe. A remnant of pain still exists, the sadness for an 18-year friendship that was revealed to be an illusion. But it's no longer an open wound. It's a lesson. With a small, melancholy smile, she turns back to her computer screen, to her new friends, to the future. She learned the hard way that some friendships, even the ones that seemed to written last forever, come to an end. And that her own strength didn't come from having someone by her side, but from her ability to pick herself back up on her own and find a new song to dance to.
Want to see more exciting stories packed with the incredible world of K-pop? Join our club and let's dream together. Subscribe, like, and share. Bye!